Hello and welcome to Patched. I'm your host, Paul James, and I'm joined by beer slurp and Matto Phillips. How's things, mate?
Not beer slurping.
Oh, it wasn't beer?
Bundy drinking. I was thinking
Oh,
between beer
Bundy.
and Bundy, yeah. The rugby union,
They've got
rugby
the better of
league special.
And so we talk about rugby league and all that, and yet we're talking about a completely opposite sport in today's episode.
The better one. The better one.
The far better one. Exactly right, actually. And not a bit of sarcasm for anyone who's from another state or another country.
No,
AFL,
it's serious.
AFL is absolutely the better code.
Rugby league is rubbish.
Yeah.
I can run in a straight line too into people.
Well,
just roll the ball
some
under
of the
my
blokes
foot.
that play it, we'd be running into them and bouncing off them pretty quickly. They're huge units, but it's
No. To be honest, if they were running at me, I'd be running away.
Yeah,
like,
run the other way.
Like that stupid Volton Reed puck shot in the Mighty Ducks where everyone just jumps out the way. That's me.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, we're talking about the far better code, which is AFL, and the fact that there's a new AFL game coming, AFL 23. It looks like, I mean, even just based on naming conventions, it looks like maybe they're eyeing off going down the annual path, a bit like what we see from FIFA and Madden and NBA 2K and all that sort of stuff. But I guess we'll wait and see on that one. But yeah, with a new game on the way, we thought we'd kind of speculate a little bit as to what is potentially going to be in this game, but also what makes or what's needed to make a good AFL game. Because, and we were kind of reflecting on, before the show, we were reflecting on some other AFL titles that we've seen over the years. I mean, you go all the way back to things like AFL Live 2004, but there's, more recently AFL Live and AFL Live 2 on the PS3. There was AFL Evolution and Evolution 2 on the PS4, or that generation. And this will be the first that we're seeing of this new generation, and also it goes over to Big Ant, who haven't been responsible for an AFL game in a long, long time, but are obviously doing a lot. We were talking about before the show, they announced like 4 different games just this week, from tennis to cycling to, what was the other one? Tennis,
some cycling manager thing or something.
Yeah, there was 2 cycling ones, there was a tennis game, and there was something else. They're churning them out, as well as AFL 23. So, I mean, what have been some of your experiences playing AFL games in the past anyway?
I've played, I think, 2. One was, this is going years and years back, when EA published one, which was AFL 99.
Oh, 99. Oh, shit. Yeah, I remember AFL 99.
That was playing that, and I was a kid, so I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just kicking a ball, handballing a ball, hoping the best to get us through the goals. Then didn't really play one till I think AFL Live came along, and then
right.
I got bored of that because I had it on the hardest difficulty, and I was beating teams by like 200 points. So it was a very challenging game.
That's good times though.
Because all I did, everyone would probably be strategic and all that, like do the fancy kicks and that. All I did the entire time was torpedoes. That's all I did.
Yeah, just like try and clear that ground in three kicks max.
That's all you have to do, and then just kick through the goals, then torpedo it again. Because that's all you had to do.
Yeah, for me it was, I mean, not that dissimilar actually. Yeah, I completely forgot about AFL 99, but yeah, I played that as well. AFL Live 2004, which was one that I put a lot of time into, and I've also seen some great memes relating to that, and AFL 23 in the last week alone, which was like a screenshot from AFL 2004 that said AFL 2004, and then the same screenshot from AFL 2004 that had AFL 23 written on it, just to kind of have a crack at the visuals and how things are coming along, how things have progressed in that space. But yeah, that one, and then I played both AFL Lives on the PS3 and the Evolution games on the PS4. But in all cases, I've never been that incentivized to stick it out outside of, I think, AFL Evolution 2, and that was purely because I got sent a code for review, so I kind of had to do the right thing and play through it in full, because they've just never been able to replicate the experience overly well, unlike your Maddens or your FIFAs or NBA 2Ks or whatever. So I guess given that, what do we want to see in AFL 23 that could potentially get it in line with at least the other games out there? And let's not go down the visual path, because we know that Big Ant doesn't have the financing that EA or 2K
The problem is not the, what do you say, animation or the look of it. It's more, animation part is. It's just more, I think, the AI side of things, because
Yeah,
you
historically,
look
yeah.
at some of them and you scratch your head and go, "What are you doing, pal?" In the old AFL games, they just stand there, try and take a mark and drop it, and you just scratch your head and go, "No one drops marks like that. That makes no sense." And there's just it's hard because you got about what 36 players on a field, and they've all got to move around compared to other games which are far less or much more boring, like FIFA, where they just stand at the back there and don't do anything while three other players just say, "Pass me the ball."
Well, yeah. I guess you get a bit of that with FIFA. Not that I've played a FIFA game in a while, but
Oh, I did it because I got excited about the World Cup. I downloaded it, played it for
did
about
you?
45 minutes. I played it for about 45 minutes. Thought to myself, "This is rubbish," and uninstalled it.
Oh wait, didn't they give like a FIFA game away for through PlayStation Plus or
I'm
Game
not
Pass or
sure.
something like that?
I know it was on Xbox Live. It was just one of their old games because I knew it
Yeah,
wouldn't
right.
affect me whatsoever because I don't know any soccer players at all. So don't know what
Messi. I know
teams.
that guy.
I know that guy, that Messi and that other guy,
Ronaldo,
Ronaldo, and some
and
other
that's
dude
about
that
it.
bites
That's all I
and
got.
who bites people, and some other dude that
Oh
died.
yeah, Zidane, Zidane or
Zinedine
something.
Zidane. Ah,
Yeah,
the classic headbutt. Ah, will go down in FIFA history,
I'm
World
sure
Cup
there was
history.
a. I'm scrolling through my PlayStation like my app. I'm sure there was a FIFA game made available through PlayStation Plus, but I'm not finding it at the moment, so maybe I'll give up on
Yeah.
that now.
Well, if anything, for AFL, it is the gaming mechanics side of things. Just
Yeah,
that's really it because in the past, you sort of played it. Just it doesn't look right. I mean, animation sort of side of things in the old AFL live days, it just looked like a man just casually jogging, no sprinting whatsoever. It just looked weird.
yeah. The animation was always a bit wonky, and you mentioned the AI. I don't know that just like I guess whether it's Wicked, oh my god, Wicked Witch in the past as a developer, or anyone else who's kind of touched it over the journey, they just couldn't seem to balance it quite right. You'd either be getting like either the opposition just couldn't possibly make a mistake, and so then it's just your traffic cones for the rest of the game, or it was the complete opposite and you just annihilate them by 200 points, something stupid like that. Um, and that's obviously depending on how long you set the matches to be. But like it was just, yeah, they could never really get it right, which was always a bit
No,
of a shame.
I think that's why you sort of see come in batches of two, and then they just disappear for years, and then come back. Here's another two, and then they just disappear again.
Yeah, and I certainly think that with Big Ant taking over, that's probably not going to be the case. Like I mean, as we've already touched on, they've got a whole bunch of games coming. They've been churning out cricket games for years, as well as tennis, as well as the cycling, as well as lacrosse, as we discussed
Lacrosse, we
before.
found out, yeah.
Um,
Lacrosse, out of all sports, lacrosse.
yeah,
There's other weird sports there too. I'm just scratching my head going, they are some weird sports to be doing. But probably they were not a big developer back then, so they just thought, you know what, let's just do a sport no one's ever heard of, no one's ever cared about. Let's do lacrosse.
they've done rugby league.
Rugby league, yes.
Um,
What was the other sports game? I can't remember.
Rugby league, tennis, cricket, AFL. They did,
Fruit
yeah,
Ninja.
they did AFL Live. Like they were responsible for AFL Live on that in that PS3 era. Um, early days, they were kind of like a bit of a like this is right back like early to mid 2000s. They were an assist studio, so they actually did some work on like Spyro, Hellboy, and then really started to carve out their niche with the sports games. But as you mentioned, they did actually kind of work on things like um, uh,
Fruit
Fruit
Ninja?
Ninja and Jetpack Joyride and a few of those early like half brick games as well, which is kind of cool. They just handled some of the ports, but yeah, they're all about their sporting games these days, and I don't know if they'll ever do anything else. But I guess for me, like I feel like what I'm looking for in AFL 23 is obviously the things that you spoke about. Like they need to kind of fix up some of those technical sides, but I'd like for them to try and chase a little bit of what EA and 2K have been doing with like the management parts. Like you build your own character and then you take them through the ranks. They maybe you're playing TAC Cup. They player gets drafted. They end up at God knows where they get drafted. Then, but then you start to build up, and you earn your stripes through the VFL or the Waffle or the Sandful. From there, you eventually maybe some sponsorship opportunities start to emerge as you start playing more games in the seniors.
And then you go drinking and take a car out and get caught for drink driving. True AFL, or go to Bali.
The the pathway of an AFL player. You've nailed it.
Or go to New York and get arrested for doing something silly.
Chad Fletcher.
I was thinking
he nearly killed himself.
He almost died in Vegas.
The Ben Cousins story. You find yourself like try and cross a river while high as a kite.
High as a kite, or run away from a booze bus. Another classic one. Or the Collingwood Football Club losing their TAC sponsorship after, some dickheads drove their car into more cars while speeding.
So, like, if they can replicate all of that, like that experience as well, that'd be fantastic. But
if that's the case, game of the year, out the door,
top 10 without a doubt. So yeah, I mean, it'd be good if they could kind of embrace the setting those things aside, like that same sort of pathway that we do see from a lot of those other sporting games. That you can kind of give that person a bit of that player a bit of personality. You do get to kind of see their story. Yeah, there's sponsorship opportunities, and you can unlock this if you get to if you play a certain number of games, and within that block of games you get, I don't know, if you're a midfielder, a certain number of disposals, or kick however many goals, X number of intercept marks, whatever it happens to be, like those sorts of things, and that unlocks. So there's more money. With the money, you can kind of invest in better gear, better training, specialized training, gets your stats up. All those sorts of things that you do see in the 2Ks, the FIFAs, all that sort of thing. They can skip the Ultimate Team.
Yeah, no cards. So and MLB.
Yeah. Sorry, an MLB. Yeah,
even though it's absolutely boring as hell, it sort of has the sort of.
They do all that stuff well,
thing.
Yeah. Boring as shit sport, but
the
game's pretty good.
Oh no, the game's boring as hell too.
Oh no, but as in in terms of replicating.
Oh yeah,
it's a boring video game too, but it is what it is, I guess. Yeah, so I think if they can go down that path, and I feel like they're halfway there. Like, I think that's a really awesome start. The visuals, if the plan is to, if we're going to see an AFL 24 and 25 and whatever going forward, like if Big Ant are the ones that oversee this thing and it's happening every year, the visuals will get there. They'll get better with the commentary, which has always been a kind of tricky spot where they get some great commentators in, but you can tell they're just phoning it in.
Sounds terrible.
And even if they're not phoning it in, they don't record enough lines, so you end up hearing the same Bruce McAvaney comment or Dennis Cometti comment or Hutto comment over and over again.
From deep.
Yeah.
It does sound terrible. Like the old days, it's just somewhere from deep. Kicks the ball high. What a mark. That's pretty much the vocabulary right there. That's what a goal. Right through the middle.
It's pretty bland and pretty
generic. Very generic commentary. It's just like, whatever.
So they've got to throw a bit of resource at that too. But like that again, all those sorts of things, like that's production quality stuff. Like that'll all, I'd like to think, would just come with time. This is Big Ant's first crack at it again, and they've been kind of showing that they've really started to nail that down with their work. On
even if you look at the cricket games, they've been getting better.
Oh, they've been fantastic actually.
Yeah. Everyone loves those games.
Yeah, I've been really, really impressed with how those games have been coming along. So like they're showing what they can do. It's just a matter of how long will it take for them to get to where it needs to be? Will the AFL crack the shits in the meantime? Will this first game be a good foundation, or are they kind of still well and truly off track? That fourth game was a rugby game. So 2 tennis games, 2 cycling games, a tennis game, and a rugby game.
Right, there we go.
So, and then obviously AFL, which wasn't a part of the NACON Direct. But, I mean, there's little things that are going to be coming up, but I guess there's a core nugget to this, to even the timing of this discussion, is that there's an event on March 22nd where they're going to unveil a whole bunch of stuff for the game, so we're kind of getting in a little bit early. But, and fortunately, I guess I'll be in attendance, which is pretty sweet. I got an invite from the AFL and Big Ant to come along, which is great. But, they're going to be showing off things like the cover players and some of those mechanics, the gameplay of it, all that ahead of its April 13th release date.
Not before the season. That's interesting.
Yeah, they couldn't. I guess couldn't get it ready in time for the season beginning. So, I guess it is what it is there. But I mean, who would you pick? Just thinking about, I guess, season 2022. Who would you pick to be some of your cover athletes?
Well, let's be honest. Dangerfield,
I feel like Danger's the obvious one as a premiership
Cripps,
player,
your Brownlow medalist.
and also Ross Simmons, who runs the company, is a fucking nutter for Carlton. Like,
Oh, there
have
you
you taken
go.
a look at Icon Park? It's got big ant logos all over it.
Oh, does it?
Oh yeah,
Well, no, not a Carlton fan. Don't care. Just
yeah,
ignore
yeah.
everything
It's
there.
covered in Carlton stuff. So, sorry, covered in big ant stuff.
So yeah, Dangerfield, Cripps. Trying to think who else there is. Eddie Maguire.
I'm figuring that they'll probably have. I figure they'd have some sort of representation of the AFLW on the front as well, because I think the AFLW is part of it as well. So maybe you get
Daisy
someone
Pearce?
maybe get Daisy Pearce, even though she's just retired.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, my kids had a whole bunch of their Geelong membership kids stuff arrive today, and Joel Selwood still splashed across a whole bunch of it, even though he's retired. So retirement doesn't preclude them. So, and Daisy's obviously like still the face of the AFLW. So sure, she's just retired, but give her a crack on the front cover of a game. She'll never obviously get the chance again. So why not now? Daisy would be a great pick. I'm trying to think, like, I guess you could, but I could see someone like a Maddie Press-Parkes, for example, as kind of, I mean, maybe a little bit biased because she's from our neck of the woods, but like, she's widely considered, the best or one of the very best players in the comp. She's won their Brownlow equivalent, like what do they call it? Is it just the MVP? I'm having a blank
I'm
now.
not sure. I don't think they've
think it has
given
a
it a
name.
name yet.
Yeah, you probably need. It probably
Or you
becomes
could
a Daisy
probably
Pearce award at this point.
could be Aaron Phillips
Yeah,
or Katie Brennan.
yeah. There's a few good options there. I'm just yeah, they literally just still call it the best and fairest. They don't have the
Don't have a name yet.
But yeah, Erin Phillips would be a
That's fair.
great candidate because she's won that twice. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who knows? There's quite a few options there because that side of the game is really kind of expanding at a pretty rapid rate. It's been pretty awesome to see. But yeah, I feel like Danger as a very outspoken person in the first place. His face is everywhere. He's doing literally everything in the game at this point.
But isn't he also the president of the Players Association?
President of the AFLPA. He's now the captain of Geelong with Joel Selwood leaving. He's just recently become a premiership player. He's probably the person who gets in front of the media the most. I feel like he's kind of an obvious one, but again, Cripps would make sense as a recent Brownlow medalist. Though I think I'd have to check. I'm pretty sure Cripps was on like the cover of. I feel like he was.
He was. I believe he was.
AFL.
Going by memory, I think Cripps's fat head was on there.
Paddy Cripps was on AFL Evolution back in 2017.
So why not again?
And then AFL Evolution. Oh no, sorry, that's AFL Evolution 2, I should say. AFL Evolution had. I feel like it was Bont because I think that was like 2016 or something. I reckon that might have been.
Premiership
Bontempelli.
here. I see.
Yeah, it had. Who's there? Bontempelli. It has Heaney and it has Chad Wingard. So, which I guess 2016 that would have been the period where Wingard was actually
Good.
So yeah, I guess maybe we can put a line through Cripps just because he's been there on the most recent game, even though it had nothing to do with it. You've had your turn, mate. Back off.
Get back in line, Paddy.
I don't care how many Brownlows you've won recently.
Just one.
So, I mean, look, this is not going to be necessarily the longest episode of all time, but is there anything else that you feel like you could really see added or don't want to see added into an AFL game?
Don't do what NBA 2K does. Don't have a silly neighborhood layout if you have a career mode. It's terrible in NBA 2K when I last played it. Just leave it out.
Keep it
do
simple.
what EA does and just have a menu to fast track or go next game. You don't need any of that other rubbish. I would also say maybe for this game, just ignore multiplayer.
Keep it simple for now.
Keep it simple. Get the gameplay right first. then go do your multiplayer stuff later on, because
I don't think they'll be able to help themselves. I feel like multiplayer.
I know, but
yeah,
I feel
But I
like
feel what
it's
you mean.
gonna absolutely burn. Imagine trying to have 36 individual people just running around aimlessly, having no idea what they're doing, just all flooding down to the forward line and crashing the whole game.
In this day and
It will
age
happen.
of
It will
battle
happen.
royales, where you do have, well, I mean, there's been plenty of online multiplayer as well, but in this day and age of battle royales, where you just have everyone thrown into the exact same game and off you go, could we just not have an AFL game where everyone assume like 36 people are on the field at once, like 36 different players, all assuming still 18 to decide, but you've actually got to work together with 17 other blokes to.
It's like a game of hot potato. That's what it sort of feels like.
Bunch of hungry pricks all trying to kick a goal.
Well, who's
so
got
no
a shirt front?
They
could have some great mini games here if they really thought about it.
Oh, Ross, if you're listening, mate,
they lose handball. There you go. There's one.
Lose handball would be great.
And do the old game of horse kicking goals. There's another one. See, we've got this sorted out already.
Big Ant, hire us. Get on the phone, Ross.
And you could also have the game of who can get the biggest suspension for the year.
You got to be able to. I don't know. How can you?
You can unlock things. You can unlock the Barry Hall punch or the Barry Hall sleeper hold.
Yeah, it's a very specific mode. It's like the old big head mode where it's just you become Barry Hall and the other bloke becomes Brent Staker and you just hook him in the face.
Oh, good time. Not good times. Then later on, Barry Hall goes into a fence, breaks his wrist, is out for 6 weeks. So.
Oh yeah, true. It's good shit. Yeah, look, I think the multiplayer will be there. I definitely agree with. I don't want to see any neighborhood style stuff like 2K. But
no trading cards. None.
Yeah, I can see them going the direction of the Ultimate Team style thing, like the FIFA Ultimate Team. I could see that still potentially happening. But it's a separate mode that doesn't influence the core experience, doesn't even influence the core multiplayer. So I can kind of deal with that, and it's also a good way for them to make some money that they can reinvest.
You can unlock the Carlton's light blue M&M Guernsey. That'd be great.
Or you get to dress up as the M&M that then Sam Newman comes and punches and it deflates and is.
Or you can unlock the great man known as Whiskers for a day.
Oh, Gary Buddha Hocking.
Gary
Whiskers Hocking.
Or you can unlock the banned Essendon players from 2016.
You can replicate the 2016 season, but with the actual squad that was intended.
Oh, that'd be. Oh, just imagine we still suck. We still wouldn't win a final.
You weren't doing a great job even with them all out there. You'd start the season real hot with all chock full of peptides and then crash and burn.
We'll also have another simulator of Mark Thompson eating a sandwich. There's another one. There's another mini game for you.
And if like people run the full season sim, it'll end up in the result that we all expect to happen most years. At which point Geelong makes a premiership, and
also will they have a
misses the finals?
A mini game for concussion tests, where it's just really blurry and you can't see, and you just got to guess.
Flick into first person. If someone takes a big hit, it flicks into first person. You just see the
wobble, and it's just blurry. You got to guess what's the picture.
What's your birth date? Oh, fuck, I don't know.
What day is it? Oh, today? I don't know. Where are you?
Good work, champ. Get back on the field.
Oh, you're good. Get on there.
If you're listening, if you're an AFL fan, if you're an AFL video game fan, let us know in the comments what you would like to see in this coming game. I'll absolutely be reporting back to people once I get the opportunity to check the game out on the 22nd of March. And I'll be doing that through a few different platforms, so go check all that stuff out, the Player 2 side in particular. And then the game comes out April 13th, so hopefully I can get a chance to go hands-on with that before the release as well. And we can simulate all the way through to a Geelong premiership. And I don't know, Bombers 9th place finish. Like, what's going to happen?
I was going to say a finals win. What's going to happen? Not much. Just, I think every captain said they're not going to make the 8, so I thought, yes, it's looking good this year.
Did you
Because
see
everyone's
one?
like, "Oh, we're a top 8. We're a top 8 team." Like, no, we're not. We're not a top 8 team. We're
Did
rubbish.
you see one captain suggested that Geelong wasn't going to make finals?
Was it Collingwood's captain?
I have no
No,
idea who
who?
it was.
No, wait. Was it? No, it was Sydney's captain.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they lost. They lost
Bitter
last
pricks.
year. Oh, the Sydney's 3 captains or whatever it was. Oh, 2 of them must have voted.
Everyone
Yes.
tipped Brisbane to make it. All but one tipped Geelong, and then I can't remember the rest afterwards. But
No
I
one
did,
tipped.
I
No
did
one
love that
tipped Essendon. Not
Danger
even
got
their own
asked after
captain.
the fact, and he goes, "Oh, maybe it's just an invalid vote. Like maybe he just didn't submit it properly."
Rubbish.
Which
That's
which
a
is
lie.
a great comment from Paddy. But anyway, so yeah, let us know anyway all your thoughts, the things you'd like to see in AFL 23. Do you want to see it be annual? What do you want to see on the multiplayer side? Visuals, audio, commentary, gameplay, etc. We want to hear all your thoughts, so drop them down there in the comments. But otherwise, we'll wrap this one up. If you enjoyed this episode of Patch, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. All the buttons are down below. Hit the notification bell. That way you're alerted to every new video the moment it goes live on the channel. That includes more Patched, Player 2 Plays, Gamer School, and a whole bunch more. Awesome stuff there, so please subscribe and go and check it out. Visit the website, player2.net.au, for reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, links to the podcast series Patched, the Player 2 Pixelcast, and Dev Diary. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au. Kick it a few bucks. Lower tiers, early access. Higher tiers, multi-episode exclusives. And finally, there's Twitter. Matto.
@Matto_Phil.
What the fuck did you just do? I saw you messing around with the thing that, oh, something's up here. Did you pre-recorded that?
Yeah, I did.
Ah, shit. At Paul James Games for myself. The website's at player2au. And until next week, thanks a lot for watching. And I don't know. Let's hope the game's good. We'll see you later.